Hi, my name is Mark Von Drasik, and I'm a science teacher, a physics teacher at Evanston Township High School, just north of Chicago, Illinois. And I just wanted to do a very brief overview of what our CABS site is all about. Our CABS, or what we're calling the Center for Advancement of Basement Science, is really just kind of a site that collects ideas, okay, research ideas, research questions. Now these are good science research projects for high school students that don't require the fancy equipment that you normally would find in something like university setting or professional laboratories. We're looking to give high school students around the country, around the world, ideas and the confidence for them to go ahead and do original work, actually make discoveries in certain areas and certain types of projects that you won't typically find within the journals, in the science professional journals. So if you think about it, there's approximately on order of 30,000 high schools in the United States. And you know, when you look at these national science contests, like the Science Talent Search, you only have a few hundred schools with students who are submitting papers, okay, doing original work, you know, competitive papers. What about those tens of thousands of other schools who have curious students who want to do science, but might not have the chance? Either you don't have a university nearby, you don't have a research program, teachers or science teachers might not have a science research background, might not know exactly how to get you on the right path to do something, which is kind of fun and cool. So these ideas are for anyone who wants to take that step and try something. You're not going to find, you know, research into cures for cancer here. Can't quite do that within a high school lab or within your house, okay, your basement, literally. But there are some pretty cool things you can do. Original work, things you could write up, you could try to publish, you could try to submit to science research contests and things like that. So here's an overview of the site that we have. And it's really just, you know, it's some students of mine and myself putting these ideas up here. And especially now in this day and age of COVID-19, when science summer programs have been canceled, more and more students and teachers are looking for ideas that you can do in the area of research, but no longer have that chance to do it in a professional lab. Try it at home. Here's some ideas. Now, the way this is set up is the different pages here are dedicated to different aspects of doing science research. So the first big one is just what do we mean by research? Okay, and science basically is a process. It's trying to figure out, asking questions and figuring out answers, trying to find solutions to those questions. We want to do that through experiments, through observations, physical evidence. That's what science is all about. And typically there's kind of like the three-legged stool a lot of people talk about. Experimentation, okay, things that you do in labs, okay, physical experiments. You have theory, okay, the mathematics and the development of ideas to try to figure out a particular type of situation or problem. And nowadays you have computational work, okay, using computers and computer simulations to try to model different scenarios that you find in nature. Okay, now most of the ideas that we have here are more geared towards physics. That's my background. I'm an experimentalist. Prior to teaching, I got my PhD in high energy particle physics at Fermilab. That's the background that you see here. And there's a couple of particular areas that a lot of my students have worked on over the years. We can do some really cool stuff. You can tweak things and projects to make it your own and to really kind of make it original, to literally make some discoveries. Fluid dynamics is that first big area. And what you'll find here when you go down these pages with all these bullet points are different types of project areas, okay, related to fluid dynamics and fluid flow. One of our favorites is the hydraulic jump, for example, and you'll find some of those ideas here. Now, over time, we hope that you can go to any one of these and click on it, and it'll go to its own separate page that will give you more details about that particular topic. Okay. Another big area that you can do a lot of work in, and you can see that there's many, many dozens of bullet points just for fluids there, and then variations on those gives you probably 150 to 200 different possible research questions that you could begin in your basement almost immediately. Granular materials, sand is a great example. It's amazing what sand can do. We know it's individual little particles, and yet it has almost like fluid properties when it's a collection of those particles, like avalanching and things like that. Lots and lots of different ideas that you could try with different types of granular materials. Almost along the lines of material science and engineering, things like fragmentation, how do things break, how do they splinter, cracking properties of different materials and different geometries. All sorts of stuff that you can do. A lot of cool stuff you can do actually now that a lot of high schools and even middle schools have 3D printers. You can custom make different shapes with different materials and test them to see what their mechanical properties are. Okay, so lots and lots of different ideas here. And there's many more. We're trying to expand more and more into the life sciences, into chemistry, and things that you could do without the use of professional labs. For computational work, okay, for online data sets, there are thousands of online data sets from major experiments in every possible field of study. Those typically require computer programming. You have to know how to code, you have to know how to go after those data, very large data sets, and whittle things down to get what you're after. There's resources there along with direct links to those data sets. Hitting the books, research, journals. At the high school level, we're a little more restricted as far as what journals you can actually go into. Universities, they have money and they can get the licenses to go into those journals and subscriptions. But there still are quite a few that we can dig up. Certainly to get up and look at abstracts of professional research and journal articles. There's ways that you can go after those articles once you have that information from the abstracts. Okay, so lots of information there. Different resources that you have to learn programming languages such as Python, which is kind of the big science language right now. All of those materials are online. It's all for free. You can go here to computer programming resources and go ahead and access those. There are other links, quick links to different things that are useful for science research, for writing up papers. If a lot of the projects that we do, the data that you collect is usually coming from video. Okay, so there's a tracker video analysis software package that's for free. It's designed for students primarily to go and actually do analysis on single frames or on frames from videos. All sorts of stuff. A link to a project called Zooniverse. That's citizen science, okay, where anyone can go in and they can contribute to professional level research projects. Just a host of information, all different aspects and different disciplines within science, within the research area. So if you're interested in this, in any kind of research, take a peek, see if anything here is of interest to you, get ideas. A lot of these resources and posts that we're putting up will give you suggestions as to what these experiments look like. Another really good resource that we have down here is I've put up dozens of high school students' papers that they've have submitted to contests, or in some cases we've published in different kinds of journals. All sorts of different areas of research. Some are done in professional university labs. A lot of these are done in people's basements. Some are computational things that the student actually wrote the code for and did some original work. But from these, you can get ideas of what these experiments look like, what the procedures are, and what a good high-level high school project can look like. Okay, these are good models to use when you actually do your work. So I hope this is helpful. Again, it's the link that we have here is basement-science.blogspot.com. And that'll give you access to all of this information and all these different ideas that have some fun and try some things on your own. So if you have any questions or any suggestions, my email address is on here, andresicm@eths202.org. Contact me if you have ideas or if you want to contribute to any of this. And I hope you have fun with it. Go ahead and make some discoveries.